Hi, it's the Feuermans here to talk to you about the marriage from hell. Literally, Hell. H is for high, E is for entertained.
L is for lied to, and L is for labeled.
H for high, people get attracted to each other when they're high on drugs, on alcohol, on having fun, on anything. E, entertained. I had a couple once in my office who had nothing in common. And I asked them what made them decide to get married. And they said, well, we had a lot of fun when we were dating. And I said, well, what else did you like about each other? What do you admire about each other? What do you respect about each other? And they said, well, we just had a lot of fun. And there was no bonding over values, what was important to each of them, how they would support each other. And that's not marriage.
And then we have lied. We have people who, for various reasons, end up being married together under false pretenses. Perhaps they felt forced by family or community. Information wasn't fully disclosed. One person had some kind of severe mental illness or problem. I've had couples getting married where one spouse has $20,000 in credit card debt that they didn't tell the other person about until they got married. That's lied to, not a great foundation for marriage. And then there's labeled. Labeled is a big issue too. On the other side, labeled is look, people have different kinds of diagnoses and different kinds of problem, for sure. And maybe you're married to somebody who has such a severe problem that you really can't see yourself continuing in the relationship. That's fair, except almost all the couples I see, each person is convinced that their spouse has a serious problem. Now, every now and then that's true, but oftentimes they're just labels, convenient labels to explain away behavior that actually is much more complex. If you see somebody yelping in pain, you might think they're nuts unless you first saw that somebody hit them on the toe. A lot of couples evoke terrible responses in each other, and surely at a certain point they can throw diagnoses at each other. The question is that real? Is that the realest part of what's going on? Or is there an inability to work together and understand each other's needs, defenses, weaknesses, triggers, etc.?
So, people who decide that they have nothing in common and they want to split, that is understandable and we respect that. So, if that's the case for you, you may or may not want to continue watching this video. Or you may want to listen in, just eavesdrop on what we have to say. If you want to figure out a way to work it out, you can. We are here to say that you can do it, and we encourage you to not give up. There is nothing like working stuff out with someone who you have a history with, who you have a foundation and a bonding and a connection that might have gone cold and you might have gotten distant. Maybe you had some kids or you got busy with your careers and you forgot and lost track of your relationship, and that happens. Or you get really upset with the other person, and that happens too. There is absolutely nothing like getting back together, figuring it out, and talking about values, getting back to what you each want. What are your goals? What do you want from yourself? What do you want from the other person? What do you want from life? And how you can support each other.
Even if you were the match made in hell, for argument's sake, and totally not made for each other, the studies show that two people do not necessarily have to have a lot in common to have a successful marriage. But what they do need to have is a willingness to care about the other person's interests and goal and support each other.